Hi guys, my name is Jeff McGowan. I'm the Northwest Sales Representative, along with Jamie and Kristen Lyle, representing Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. Right now we're in Craig on a nice cloudy day and want to discuss with you guys how to select a fly line. I think anybody that's walked into a fly shop sees that there's an abundance of fly lines, and how do you know which one is right for you? So when concerning SA, there's really 5 primary tapers that we like to focus on. And that would be the Trout Standard, Trout, MPX, Infinity, and Anadrೊ. Not all fly lines are made the same. Fly lines, to me, I often like to compare to as like your shoes. You yourself are the same, but when you go to the beach, you have sandals. When you go to a wedding, you have dress shoes. When you go to the rodeo, you got boots. Fly lines are the same thing. You can change out your fly line to change the personality of any rod that you have. So beginning with each line and discuss the differences, the Trout Standard. The Trout Standard is an all-purpose, true to line weight line. So that means it's gonna come in at your 140 grains in that first 30 feet. So that's gonna be more for your kind of more moderate, fast action rods. It's got a mid-length belly, so it's good at all distances, and your kind of small to light fly systems. Next is the Trout. The Trout line really should be called like the Trout Sniper or Technical or something of that sort, because it really is a more specific line than the name suggests. The Trout is a long 60 plus foot overall head length with a long 13-foot front taper. This is going to be more of, think of like a sniper rifle, reaching out and touching something. Light fly systems, more light to moderate action rods. Here on the mow, it's an ideal line when we're throwing small dry flies to rising heads. You throw a cast out, throw men's in behind it, feeding it, and it makes an extremely tactical system. Next is the MPX and Infinity. Now I get more questions on these 2 lines than anything else of which one do I get. We advertise both as all-purpose fly lines, which they are. Both are a half line weight heavy, so good for those kind of more modern fast action rods. But the primary difference being the belly length on them. They both have 7-foot front tapers, so that's adequate for light dry flies, but also a short enough front taper that it's going to turn over any nymph system or streamer that you have. The difference again is going to be in your belly length. So the MPX is a 36-foot overall head. That's going to be better for out of the boat, short casts and small streams, a little bit more of a positive turnover at short distance. Where it starts to lag is when you start to get behind that head. So long casts, long mends, such as feeding rising fish out of a boat when you're stationary. Then we have the Infinity. The Infinity, we call the Infinity because it's your go all, do all, accomplishes everything fly line. It also has that 7-foot front taper, good for dries, good for bobbers and nymph rigs, but then it has a long 40+ foot head. That allows you to carry more line for accuracy. It also allows you to be more effective at mending at distance. So I'd say really the difference kind of comes is the distance of casting. If you're going to be kind of that 30 feet or in, MPX. If you're going to be pushing that 30 feet and out, Infinity. And then finally it comes down to the Anadrೊ indicator. This is one of my personal favorite lines. The Anadrೊ indicator has a 2-foot front taper. And now when I talk about front tapers, the key thing there is that, like, think about a hammer. If you have a hammer and a nail there, and I use that hammer to drive the nail, I can do that effectively. If I turn that hammer around and try to hit that nail with the handle, I can't drive the nail very effectively. The hammer weighs the same, but it's the distribution of that mass. That's how a front taper reacts. So the Anadrೊ has a 2-front taper, so it's the ultimate hammer effect. So large nymph systems, salmon flies, wind-resistant bugs with a dropper, anything of that sort is going to give you the highest level of turnover, and then it has a long 68-foot head for mendability. So it's a phenomenal line to use, and a little secret on that one, if you put on the SA presentation leader at either 11 or 14 feet, it makes an excellent dry fly line as well. And so that covers really our top 5 tapers in scientific anglers, and hope that made a little bit of sense to some of you guys.